Hello guys, welcome back to my channel once again here on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining me for something slightly different again today. So after hearing various rumors and hearing other fans talk about it and other people have been talking about it to me, that All Out 2021's been compared to WrestleMania 17 or X7 or whatever you want to call it. I decided to myself, that'd make a good video. Why don't I watch them both again and then try and my best I can to compare them to see which one's the better pay-per-view. So I had a good think about how I would do it, and I checked over the amount of matches each one had. So All Out had 10 matches in total. That includes the pre-show. WrestleMania had 12 matches, which included the pre-show Sunday Night Heat. So I decided the best way to do this is to pit the matches head to head. For example, the AEW World Championship match against the WWF Championship match, and things like that, and then rate them and see which one's the best overall, and then give that the winning one the point, and tally up the points at the end to see who gets the most points and wins. But then I'm stuck with that extra 2 matches. So the 2 matches I left out from the head-to-head kind of thing was APA and Taz versus Right to Censor, because that 6-man tag, I couldn't find anything else on All Out to compare it to. And it wasn't a great match anyway. I gave that one 1.5 out of 5. It was quite a poor match. Right to Censor didn't win that one. It was APA and Taz. And the other one I left out because I couldn't find anything else to compare it to was Shane McMahon versus Vince McMahon in a street fight with Mick Foley as the special guest referee. And that was a good match, don't get me wrong. Lots of interference going on with Trish Stratus, Stephanie McMahon, etc. And it wasn't a great technical wrestling match or anything like that. It was just exciting to watch for just the comedy side to it, and it was just entertaining really. And I gave that one a 3 out of 5. And what I've done, because I've had to miss these 2 off, is award WWE WrestleMania a point to make up for that, if that makes sense. And it might seem a bit harsh towards AEW's All Out at the moment, but that's the only way I could find around that. So yeah, that's the bonus point they have so far before we even start WrestleMania, that is. So yeah, what I'll do is I'll go through, as I said, go through each match head to head, and then rate them all, etc. If you haven't seen my All Out review, please check that out by all means, guys. That means a lot to me. Obviously my scores are going to be the same from what I gave the matches back then in the review to this, because it'd be stupid to change them, even though I wasn't sure going over it again if some of the matches deserved what they got. Some I thought maybe deserved more of a better score and some deserved less, but I'm sticking to the score I gave them last time. It makes it more fair that way. So let's go over a few stats before I start all the head-to-head matches. We have AEW's All Out 2021 was from September 5th, 2021, obviously, from the Now Arena in Hoffman Estates, Illinois. Attendance 10,126, and I had a buy rate of 205,000, which is quite impressive, I still think. WWE's WrestleMania 17 or X7. I'm just going to call it 17 because it's getting annoying keep calling it X7. Sorry, guys. April 1st, 2001, from the Reliant Astrodome, Houston, Texas. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Attendance 67,925, and a buy rate of a whopping 1,040,000. Absolutely phenomenal. So let's turn these round so you guys can see what's going on the backs. Well, it doesn't really give all the matches on the back of the WrestleMania one. So what I'll do with that then is get this insert out and put it there, so you can see the matches pretty much. And then, yeah, there we go. Sorry guys, let's get on with it. So the first match I put head to head was the pre-show matches. So on the pre-show for All Out, we had the 10-man tag, Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, Wheeler Yuta, and Jurassic Express, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus against the Hardys HFO thing. And as I said back then when I reviewed it, it was a okay match, just a lot going on, and it dragged for a bit, especially after the match had finished. And I did rate it with the pre-show as well. I gave it a score of 3 out of 5. If I didn't have the pre-show mixed in with it, I probably would have given it a score of maybe 2.5. But it was the overall score I gave it. Sorry, guys. So I have to stick with that now. So 3 out of 5 for that one. And that was up against the Sunday Night Heat pre-show WrestleMania 17, which we had Grandmaster Sexay and Steve Blackman against X Factor, which was X-Pac and Just Incredible, accompanied to the ring by Albert. That match I just thought was over too fast, just felt pointless. It deserved to be on the pre-show. It just wasn't a great match in my opinion. That one got a 1.5 out of 5 for me. And that isn't listed on here, I don't think. And that's the only one that isn't listed, the pre-show match I just went over on that list there. So AEW picks up a point then. So we're tied at 1-1 if you include the point I gave WWE at the beginning, which I already explained the reasons to why I've done that. Next up, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's Championship. And as again I say, with all these AEW ones, I'm not going to go into the matches too much. Check out the review if you want to know more on them. I gave that a score of 3 out of 5. And that I put up against WrestleMania's Ivory versus China for the WWF Women's Championship. And this was a lot better than the Royal Rumble one, which I reviewed last week, I think it was, Royal Rumble 2001's match between Ivory and China. Pretty much one-sided, as you would expect. China kicked her ass to become WWF Women's Champion. I gave this one a 2.5 out of 5. So AEW now lead 2 points to 1. Moving on to match number 3, we have Miro versus Eddie Kingston for the TNT Championship. And I did enjoy that match, as I said in my review for it. Miro picking up the deserved win to retain his TNT Championship. Eddie Guerrero, Eddie Kingston, I keep doing that with Eddie Kingston. Sorry, Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston does deserve a title run at some point. It'd be good if he gets one in 2022 or any time in the near future. Be good. But yeah, Miro retained, and I gave that score 3.5 out of 5 in my review. I put that up head to head against Chris Jericho versus William Regal for the Intercontinental Championship. This match wasn't as technically good as I thought it was going to be, as it sounds like it's going to be on paper. Doesn't mean it was a shit match by all means. I gave this a score of 3 out of 5 as my final overall score. Jericho picking up the victory. So that means AEW now lead 3 points to 1. And I'm trying to treat this as unbiased as I can, guys, by the way, in case you think it's all, I'm rooting for AEW, I want to pick them over WWF or WWE. That's not the case. I'm doing it by the best way I could pit the similar matches, or what I thought was similar matches against each other. Next up, match number 4, Women's Casino Battle Royale. So this is the one where Ruby Soho debuted and won. I gave this one a 3.5 out of 5. And this was up against a gimmick battle royal, which was won by the Iron Sheik eventually. So we had like the Bushwhackers, Doink the Clown, Kamala, just to name a few superstars in this, and it was good. Good nostalgic feel to it. You know, going back, seeing some of the childhood wrestlers I saw growing up and everything. Very good entertainment that way, but it was just very bad as a match. Very bad indeed. This one got a 2 out of 5, giving AEW another point, then putting them on to 4 points to 1 now. Match number 5, we had Young Bucks versus Lucha Brothers in a steel cage AEW tag team title match. And as I said in previous videos, I think this was my match of the year pretty much for 2021. Lucha Brothers, they done ever so well. It was a very brutal match as well. This one got a 5 out of 5. And to put it against this one, it was really a really good idea, but it was so difficult to call. So TLC 2 for the WWF Tag Team Championship, a triple threat match. So we had the Hardy Boys versus Edge and Christian versus the Dudleys. Now, all three of these teams worked ever so well. There was a lot of interference as well from the likes of Rhino, Lita, Spike Dudley. But it was just so many spots that stood out for me in that match. It was so entertaining, well put together. That Edge spear off the ladder in midair, that was just absolutely fucking awesome. It was hard to decide what to give this a score at, but it don't deserve no less than a 5 as well. So yeah, 5 out of 5 for that one. Going up against that Young Bucks and Lucha Brothers one is a really tough call. So they both, because that's a tie, no one gets a point for that. So we're still on 4 points to 1 AEW. So, match number 6 next. CM Punk versus Darby Allen. Obviously, CM Punk's first match in 7 years. He wasn't going to lose. It was already like a no-brainer going into this, what was going to happen. But they still put on a good match anyway. I gave this a score of 4 out of 5. And this was up against Triple H versus Undertaker. And this match got interestingly made after Kane tried to murder Stephanie McMahon by threatening to throw her off of a balcony if the match wasn't made, if Commissioner Regal didn't make the match kind of thing. So Commissioner Regal had no choice but to make the match between Triple H and Undertaker. And of course, this is like part of Undertaker's streak, even though it wasn't acknowledged much back then. But this match was really close. And Triple H, as you know, he tried to use a sledgehammer. Nothing new there. Undertaker did pick up the victory though, luckily. The right man won. But no, as unbiased as I possibly can be, the match wasn't as good as CM Punk versus Darby Allin. I wish I could say it was. And this was the only one I could compare it to that deserved to go head to head. But 3.5 out of 5 I scored this one. So overall, another point for AEW. So that's 5 points to 1 now. Next up, we had MJF versus Chris Jericho in the final match between the two. If Jericho had lost, he'd have to retire from wrestling altogether. Luckily, he picked up the victory in a very good match, which I scored 3.5 out of 5. I put this up against Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit. And wow, what a hell of a match this was between these two. Lots of technical moves and great grapple holds and reversals, as you'd expect from these two. They always put on a good display. One of my favourite matches, that is, between the two of these guys. And I scored this a 3.5 out of 5 as well, mainly because of like the finish and Angle picking up the victory. But these are just my opinions. So that was another tie, so no one gets a point again. Match number 7. So we had Paul White versus QT Marshall. Absolutely rubbish match. Couldn't stand this. Waste of time. They should have just had this on an episode of Rampage or Dynamite. As I said in my review, I wasn't happy with this one. Paul White picked up the victory in around about 2 minutes, I think it was. I scored this 1.5 out of 5. This went up against Test versus Eddie Guerrero for the WWF European Championship. And this match I actually did enjoy, and this was very good. Despite a little bit of interference, which kind of ruined the ending, but I felt like this was a very competitive match between Test and Eddie Guerrero. And Eddie Guerrero picking up the victory to become two-time European champion then. 3 out of 5 I score this one, so this brings back a point for WWE finally. So that puts the scores at 5 for AEW, 2 for WWE. And then we move on to match number 9. We have Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima. And as I said in that the review I did for that, I did enjoy that one too. It was good to see Suzuki have a standoff with Moxley at the end. I thought that was very entertaining. Very good stuff. I scored that one a 3.5 out of 5. I put this up against Raven versus Big Show versus Kane for the Hardcore Championship in a triple threat. And this was absolutely awesome. We had like Raven going through a window, Kane going through a door, Big Show and Kane going through a wall. A crazy golf cart moment with Raven trying to escape, Big Show climbing all over the roof and on the back of the golf cart. Absolutely good stuff. I miss Hardcore Championship matches. I absolutely love this one. This one got a 4.5 out of 5. Giving another point to WWE. So putting the scores now at 5 for AEW, 3 for WWE. Or WWF, but I'm getting confused. I've got to keep remembering what to call them. So yeah, 5-3 at the moment. Then we go into the World Championship matches. So we have Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage for the AEW World Championship. And as I said, I did enjoy that match on my review. I gave that one a 4 out of 5. And that went up against The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin for the WWF Championship with a no DQ stipulation. And this match just felt never ending, but I didn't mind that because it was a match I didn't want to end. We had like countless amounts of rock bottoms and stunners. A hell of a beatdown by Stone Cold on The Rock with a chair. He hit him so many times with it. Both were busted open. Quite a lot of blood loss between the both of them as well. Getting hit by ring bells and everything else. But yeah, that was a hell of a match. And of course, this was around the time when Shane McMahon had recently purchased WCW. So Stone Cold had aligned himself with the boss, Vince McMahon, after this match had finished, pretty much, completing his heel turn and becoming WWF champion after his awesome Royal Rumble 2001 victory got him there. This got a 5 out of 5, taking the scores to AEW with 5 and WWE, WWF, whatever, with 4. Now that was it. That was all the matches. So they're both good pay-per-views overall. I rate them both 9 out of 10. And you already know I did with the review for that if you've seen that already, guys. This WrestleMania, 9 out of 10 it deserved as well. This was the only way I could call it down the middle, even though it still kind of felt unfair. I tried to remain as unbiased as I could, guys. So yeah, AEW beats WrestleMania, in my opinion, in the best way I could work out how to lay this out. Anyway, let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you agree with my decision? Do you agree with the format, how I laid out the matches and everything else? Would you have done the same, or would you have done it differently? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know which matches deserve to win the point and which ones didn't. Let me know your favourite out of the two, if the right one didn't win. or the left one in this case. Yes, thank you very much for joining me, guys. Feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And hi to new subscribers again. Keep on coming, keep on joining, guys. I don't mind. It encourages me to keep on making these videos. And if this one does well, I'll consider doing another head-to-head or a few more head-to-heads in the future. I have a few others in mind. Or if there's any head-to-heads you want to see, if you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments below and I could put it together for you. Thank you very much, guys. You take good care of yourselves. Thank you for joining me. Peace.